This blazer is covered in like a pond scene of herons and flowers. So either I've become 80 or this is how adulthood looks when you spend €40 on a hilariously printed blazer unironically. I'm a great adult. Diog with everyone, welcome back to my sitting room. My name is Diesel and you are as always most welcome. I'm really late to the party on this, I know. The second book already came out, I know. I have read that book, yes I know, but we're going to pretend that I haven't yet and just review the first one. The second video for the second book will be out sometime after this one. Okay, let's go. Today we're going to be reviewing a book. That book is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I'm going to keep the review to just this one for this video, and then A Court of Mr. Fury will come later. So let's just get on with it. Good plan. So what the heck's it all about, Diesel? Well, I'll tell you. A Court of Thorns and Roses follows the life of 19-year-old Feyre, who I thought was called Fairy for like a real good chunk of the book, until I think it might be book 2 when somebody phonetically pronounces it. So thanks, but her name is Feyre. She is the daughter of a used-to-be wealthy merchant whose business went under the sea, quite literally, and now her family is no longer rich and they live in absolute squalor and poverty, and it's very sad. Her mother is dead. Her father became kind of useless after his money went away, so she has 2 older sisters and she's the only one capable of stepping up to the actual plate and making sure she provides for her family. In order to do this, she teaches herself how to hunt, and she does that. She hunts so that it won't starve to death, while the others do absolutely effing nothing. Another important fact that I should tell you is Feyre is a human who lives on the human side of a wall that separates the humans from the Fae. About 500 years ago there was a war. Humans used to be the slaves of Fae, but then they got liberated, and in a treaty there was a wall built in the lands. Humans were given their lands, the Fae had their lands, and Feyre's family basically live like right beside the border. One day while out in the woods hunting, Feyre comes across a deer, which is going to give her skin, it's going to give her food, everybody wins. And she decides she's obviously going to shoot it with an arrow. Unfortunately, a very large wolf comes along and he wants to eat the deer instead. So she thinks, I'm either going to get this deer, or the wolf is going to get the deer, or I can get the wolf. So naturally she shoots the wolf and skins him and, sells his skin off to provide for her family, yada yada yada. Unfortunately for Feyre though, the wolf that she killed was actually a Fae, who shapeshifted into a wolf, and when you murder a Fae, the other Fae are kind of pissed about it, naturally. So a few days later, a very large looking beast comes to her cottage and demands her life in exchange for the Fae that she killed. There is a loophole though. He does tell her he can either rip her to shreds there and then, or she can come with him to live on the other side of the wall and sacrifice her body to the lands, which is the debt paid. Naturally, Feyre doesn't want to die, so she decides to go with him. Great. Also great, the scary beast actually turns out to be another shape-shifting Fae who is called Tamlin. He is the High Lord of the Spring Court, and adventures ensue, everybody. Aren't you excited? You should be. So, the thoughts. First of all, I have to admit to you, when this book first came out, I wanted nothing to do with it. It didn't intrigue me in any way. I didn't jump on board with it. I was like, nah. I have read the first book in the Throne of Glass series. Again, was just like, don't care. And then I saw an interview recently with Sarah J. Maas, and she was just the most fucking adorable human being that I've ever seen in my life. I'm borderline in love with that woman. and she really intrigued me, so I figured, okay, I gave Throne of Glass a chance, didn't like it, I will go back and give Court of Thorns and Roses a chance. And I'm actually really glad I did, because once I was into it, it was totally worth the time and money and mental exhaustion that I put into reading it. Feyre as a character is a really good character to go on this journey with. She's funny and witty, but she's also driven by a desire that most people can relate to. It's the protection of her family, even though her family are what you would probably call absolute douche canoes. But then the development with how the characters are written, I really like to when you get to know her sisters a bit more. Tamlin as a main male is a decent character. I didn't love him, but I still enjoyed being around him. I thought his really awkward, like, why don't you want to spend time with me? Ugh, it's really annoying. Moments. It was very Beauty and the Beast-esque. Maybe that's what this is, actually. Like a kind of retelling or inspired by. That would make so much sense. Anyway, it was just funny. And then Lucian kind of being like, this is so, like, Lucian is Tamlin's captain, or is he his emissary? Maybe he's both. But you're kind of like, Lucian is having the same feelings that you're having throughout this book, and it was funny. Lucian is my favourite character. I thought he was hilarious. I wanted to be around him all the time. He's just the right amount of evil, but also, like, wonderful, because obviously he's on Tamlin's side, but he's still a shithead. Some of the fantasy elements, as always, didn't quite click in there with me, but I still thought it was a super enjoyable read. And then when the character of Rysand comes in, I just couldn't wait to continue reading about him. From the moment I met him, I was like, who is this guy and what is he doing? And then when he comes back later. He doesn't feature extremely heavily in this book for a long time, but in the scenes that he's in, oh my god. I will discuss those after the non-spoiler section. But for non-spoiler section people, all you need to know is I would definitely recommend this book. It's maybe not the best written book. There are a lot of like lines said over and over again, but it's still a really fun journey. The characters in it are awesome. The plotline developments in it are awesome. I would recommend it. Once I'd finished it, I literally closed it, ordered the next one on Kindle, like that. It was super. I would recommend it. I obviously continued on with the series. Can we go to spoiler parts now, please? Thank you. Bye. Thank you for coming. I hope you like my unironically bought thing. Let's be honest. They hated my unironically bought blazer. So, spoilery section, people. What the fuck, Tamlin? Can I just say for a second? When Tamlin makes no move whatsoever to help her out with Armantha, what are you doing? Tamlin really bothered me in this book because he made no move to save her from the crazy evil lady. And then on the one time that he did want to be around her, all he wanted to do was fuck. And I was like, this is the first time you're getting to spend with the love of your life. And all you wanted, like, she could be dead tomorrow and literally he wants to fuck. He doesn't want to cuddle, he doesn't want to talk about their lives, he doesn't want to throw out an escape plan. No, he just wants to have sex. So, stand up guy is our Tamlin. Lucian, for always, I have no complaints. He is a little dote who my feelings will never change about, even though he's a member of the Spring Court, and we all know, judging by the next book, they don't know how to say no. Actually, I changed my mind, Lucian. See, because I've read the other... Oh, anyway, whatever. What the hell was this? Miming. The introduction of Rysand into this book is freaking glorious. When he first appears at the ceremony thing, I was like, who is this and what are you doing? It was just the right amount of here, meet this new character, he's gone now, let's not talk about him again. I just really enjoyed it. It was such a good way to introduce a character because you're not overwhelmed with him, but then you meet him again later and you're more intrigued by him. When he came to Tamlin's house and made him bow, him and Lucian bow in front of him, I was like, oh my god, this guy is so evil. And I think it says a lot about the type of person I am, but it was great because I was like, oh, you're so evil, but it's so sexy, which is terrible. Like, I usually disagree with the level of thought that, oh, girls like bad guys, but fictional bad guys, I guess. Unless they're like Christian Grey bad guy, which then fuck that guy. Not literally, he's disgusting. But he, I don't know, Rysand is just such a, or Rysand is such an interesting character. And then when he's like under the mountain and everyone's calling him a whore, totally relate, first of all. And when he like keeps drugging her, which is like, what the hell are you doing? And painting her, which is weird. And then like, why does he want the week of her life? That's even weirder. And you don't know, like he's doing all these evil things, but then he's helping her in ways, and you're like, what? You can't figure him out. And that's what I love about, he's not, what's the word? Like a lot of villains in YA are villains, and like, you know from the get-go they're evil. There was a bit of mustache twirling type thing, but Rhysand you can't figure out, and that's what makes him one of the best characters in this whole book, because you have literally no idea what his agenda is. You have no idea if he's doing it because he wants to be nice. You have no idea what he's going to get out of that. And even when Feyre is like, why are you doing this? He's just like, don't want to piss Tamlin off. Like, it's just so funny. I just loved it. I'm going to start talking about A Court of Mist and Fury, so I have to stop, or else that'll just get mixed up in this. But again, obviously, if you've read it, I hope you went on to the second one because it was really good. It was super enjoyable, and we can talk about that on that video. But until then, until next time, my little Fae friends, I'm going to unironically wear this jumper elsewhere. It's not a jumper. I have to stop talking about the heron blazer. Just shut up. Slán!